I mean, certainly we introduce things in the group, and certainly with these instruments, you never know what the most interesting things are about them until you actually put them in the hands of a lot of people to try them. Certainly my experience has been that this group, they'll inevitably try to break the instrument that I make or somebody else makes, and also inevitably discover much more interesting things to do with it than I would have ever thought of ahead of time. So these kinds of sessions where we just let people play, it's kind of hard to take sometimes. We have a room for 30 people, these instruments, and they're all messing around. But it's important to let it go and see what happens. But then they make fun of me sometimes because they say, okay, now you have to go home and practice the same gesture all the time. You must go practice so that you can, on your own, develop your own expertise with the instrument.
I'd say a lot of the composers work alone with their idea. Then they come work with the group for the first time, and they go away horrified. And they say, that was not what I expected. Even us, after we've written pieces for 5 years now, still get surprised in good ways and strange ways. And the piece gets redone or taken in sections. But as we're converging towards a performance like this, we are actually woodshedding on specific parts. We've had pieces where we've done sectionals, like part of the orchestra doing something, and they're supposed to meet at 7 o'clock on Monday night and work on their part and work that out. And then when the group gets together, we hope it all falls together. But each piece is so different, and different every iteration of doing it. A few things like Clicks has sort of settled into its
first piece we did, yeah,
performable state, and that's why we can always pull it out and do it, and we like doing it, and it spatializes well, and it conducts well, and most of that, it's pretty much what we play the first day of class to teach the orchestra, the new members, how to set their stuff up and do something. And,
I asked this as someone who started out as an experimental filmmaker, but what have you thought about, or I'm not sure the specific question, but thought about in terms of a bridge to general audiences who are familiar with traditional or classical music? What have you thought about or done for them that's, I wonder, or if it's already in there, maybe tell me, but the bridge to sort of folks who aren't familiar with this kind of thing.
Dan did a piece last spring with the American Composers Orchestra, and 8 of us played at Carnegie Hall. It was Concerto Grosso. It was the orchestra and us who were the concertina orchestra, and Dan's Harding with it. And so that was a fairly mainstream. I mean, it's their series, but you should talk more about it.
I mean, that's a new music series, so people go wanting to hear new music. But, well, first of all, nobody knows this. I mean, and we don't even necessarily know what's here. I mean, we feel like there's this whole world out there. We've touched on a couple spots of it. So I don't feel like anybody knows what this is. So inevitably, it's going to be new. But we have tried, for example, to play with a lot of different kinds of groups. So from the American Composer Orchestra to playing with Zakir Hussain, the renowned tabla player, exploring Indian traditional ideas in the context of a laptop orchestra, to playing last weekend with Matmas, an electronica duo, which has a huge following of a certain kind. And so I feel like we've tried to reach out to artists who come from really different backgrounds and different aesthetics, and see if we can both go to where they like to be, but also take them out of their comfort zone in some way, and see if we can meet somewhere in the middle.
You do a rave in Toronto?
We haven't done a rave yet.
Are there a lot of schools that have this kind of group? Does Apple underwrite anything? And will these people be able to find jobs?
Oh! I don't think we're trying to recreate the industry of the conventional orchestra, such as it is, and train future players who then go and audition for professional There are
our graduate students, however, have gone on to found laptop orchestras. The Stanford Laptop Orchestra was actually founded by the guy who wrote the Clicks piece, and
he was a
slower.
graduate student with us the first year we started this, and Stanford wanted a laptop orchestra after this. And
Is there a rivalry?
Oh, of course. Like East Coast, West Coast, forever.
There's a rivalry because for some reason Stanford and Apple are much closer than.
Yeah,
they get all these.
List all the LORKs though, that we sold some of our old equipment, thanks to MacArthur. The first stations that we had that were big, to Boulder, Colorado, PLOrk,
Westchester,
Oslo, Olo, bunch of laptop orchestras is coming up. And Scott Smallwood, who is our postdoc on this MacArthur grant, who was one of our TAs for PLOrk, has just gotten a new academic job in Alberta, and he's talking about an outdoor marching or solar panels and things like that. So it is an attractive idea. Yeah, it's a disease. Yeah.
It's great.
We're trying. I'm going to reach out back there. No, you.
Do you collaborate just face to face, or do you collaborate over the internet, or through a network also? When you practice, do you have to see each other?
Yeah, we've really been exclusively a local area network thing. And one of the main things that I've been interested in is seeing how you can leverage the power of a local wireless network combined with the audio network that an ensemble like this has built in. And just seeing that there's an enormous kind of tension and also kind of complementary set of skills or abilities that those two different kinds of networks bring to the table. And so we've really been entirely focused on doing things in a room together. There's been a bunch of opportunities and requests to do Internet 2 things and so on. And we'll do that at some point. But there's so much to do right here that that's really where we focused on attention. Yeah.
Does the light actually influence the flashlights, influence the music, and does the tipping of the instruments influence the music? Could you explain that a bit?
Sure, I'll answer that. One of the things that a lot of us, myself included, are interested in is how to use the actual input capabilities of the laptop in order to play something expressively. So instead of looking at it as a computer, to look at it as, well, it's got a bunch of buttons, and it's got a 2D position sensor in the form of a mouse. And most laptops you buy these days actually have a motion sensor built in, which we're using. So when you see us tilting around, we're changing different parameters. This is actually the motion sensor that's built in to protect your hard drive if you drop your laptop, but we use it for something a little bit more fun. The flashlights in my piece, people were actually using the webcam and kind of drawing circles or coloring in shapes, and they would see on the screen sort of how the computer was interpreting their flashlight. So it was responding to position and brightness and different parameters. But this is something that we use in a few of our pieces.